So I'm here with Sunny, head chef, developmental chef, ops manager, events manager, logistics manager,
And more.
and more.
Probably. HR.
Psychology stuff you do,
Yeah.
empathy. You bring a lot of empathy to the table.
Logistics.
P&Ls and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, this man, what he doesn't do is yeah. So Sunny, this is a very tricky industry to be in for many reasons. And you've been in it for how many years now?
Started cooking for 26 years, and I've been in the industry for 29 years.
Wow. So almost 30 years in this industry and you're still here.
We don't have to round up, but yes. Yeah.
I mean, so 29 years in the industry is very tough. Why are you still here?
Because I don't know if I get on board with terms like industry, job, career. I genuinely feel I'm in a very small sort of handful of people who don't work a single day of their life, because my income, my revenue stream is my passion that I do on a daily basis and have done for 29 years.
29.
At some points for the first 7 or 8 years, didn't even realise it was. Dipped my toe in other industries, finance obviously.
He's a Patel, that's why.
I went to university, hated it, but actually I spent all my time training to be a chef while I was there, and so it was almost a subconscious choice to become a chef, which is my original sort of mission, shall we say. And actually I've been very lucky with it because it's helped me live in 8 different countries. I've worked for all the big boys and all the small boys and girls.
And you speak so many different languages as well.
I do. But
che bella italiano e che buono spagnolo.
Scusi,
todo,
non
no?
capisci italiano, lo
wow.
siento, no hablo español.
Wow.
So I wake up every day probably happier than most because I don't have to go to work. I just go and do what I love doing, which I think I do pretty well, for 8 to 10 hours at times, 18 to 20 hours a day, and it's a lot. You're a lot happier when you do that.
I mean, this is an advert for becoming a chef because you've just painted the ultimate picture of, what most people wish for is pick a job you love, you never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
You basically just said that, and you've been doing it for long enough to know that this is a job that you like and that you have longevity in and have had longevity in. But programs like The Bear, which I've said to people, if we're picking characters, you're definitely Fak.
Fuck you, you're wrong.
But leave a comment below. Is Sunny Fak or what?
Fak, not.
It's just minus tattoos, I think.
I mean, I'm one of the
I'm
one of the only sort of successful chefs that doesn't have tattoos or sausage fingers is kind of my thing. So
normally there's a tattoo like Carmen has really
break the cycle is what I say.
So given how hard it is and how hard it's shown to be, it may not be reality, it's drama, right? But you see Gordon Ramsay shouting at people. You see that other moustachy guy getting angry who does the stock cubes.
Yeah.
Jean-Pierre, one of those guys.
Those guys.
I'm more of a Gino D'Acampo kind of guy.
So then, that explains everything.
Don't know what you mean by that. So, given all of that,
yeah,
what's one of the hardest things about working in this industry?
I think if we dial back your sort of your on ramp for
my culinary tour through all the legends.
Yeah. So again, it goes back to what is presented to be the hardest thing. I think with any job, if your mindset is right and your approach is right and your commitment is right, it doesn't feel hard. It feels hard to others, potentially. So if my sister's a physio, an incredible physio, and what she does, I perceive to be really intense and really, really difficult. And I'm assuming it's the other way. It's because we don't know each other's worlds, right? Mm-hmm. There is an argument also that if you are good at what you do, your work life is actually a little easier and balanced.
I would agree. And if you enjoy it even more, yeah.
Exactly that. And actually, I think there is a, what is assumed to most people who, everyone who doesn't work in the industry, but for lack of a better term, normal people, working past 5 o'clock is a chore. Waking up at 4 a.m. is a chore.
Yeah.
Being in the same place for 12 to 15 hours is ridiculous.
I would hate that.
However, flip it with my approach, which is I want to be nowhere else. I don't press snooze on my alarm. I'm actually ahead of my alarm because I have that energy and enthusiasm.
You're basically Arnold. You're a big Arnie, aren't you?
I'll get there. But I do think your engagement to what you do, it firstly gives you tangible results in your career. It secondly balances your own mentality and your mental health, and also makes you better at what you do. I think it's all about the approach and the commitment.
I agree. And when we hire new staff into Bandit, do you think that they come with that same attitude you have, or is it something that you've actually had to learn, maybe you didn't have when you first started?
Absolutely. Like I said earlier, I wasn't aware I had it until I realised I had it. And also, I think because of our ethos on recruit, we don't recruit for a job. We recruit people.
Yeah, 100%.
And so the onus is on us to establish whether they do want that, whether they want it but don't realise they want it. But also, if they don't want it, then let's play to all of the strengths that they do bring to our business.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I think we're very democratic in how we treat our people. And I think we hire people, and not for the job they've got now, but for a pipeline that we believe that they are going to be good at.
And actually, just today I've had 2 talks. You've had a talk with people who are in that pipeline
100%.
and moving towards that.
We've got one member of staff who this week passed their probation and also got a promotion the same week.
And he's only been with us 3 months.
100%. And
So-
I think if there's anything that we can hang our hats on, it would be that. So
And in this industry, I feel like, people are everything in most businesses and most industries, but in particular here, it feels like people have such a greater proportion of influence than they do in a different business.
and they have so many different versions of influence.
Yes.
A lot of the, let's say, corporate world, influence comes from the top.
We love corporates.
Influence comes from the top, and then it's very limited. But there's parameters around what influence you are allowed below that person.
Yeah.
This is about engagement and empowering. And I think if you take one of our chefs, for example, taught him a recipe on basil, which hit a brief that we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
He ran with that and made it better. If you were the CFO of a company and you had a financial controller who turned around to you and said, and I'm assuming here, right? I've never been a CFO or a financial controller, despite my appearance,
Shocking.
despite my surname. I love it you're about to say it, and I did it too. It would be rocking the boat a little bit. It would be...
Yes, in a corporate situation, it would
100%.
not be like
But
to
the
approve.
fundamentals of those two industries is absolute detail, absolute consistency, and absolute fanatic attention to detail, right? And that is the both of the fundamentals of it. But this industry, this business more so, we are not ever going to say that we're right. We're never going to... And actually, it makes my job easier knowing that people are hungry to make our business better.
I love that. And so, taking all of that into consideration, why, and this probably doesn't apply to us, might apply to the industry in general, why is there a reputation when you work as a waiter, front of house, whatever you want to call it, or a chef, that staff turnover is really high, people are treated like shit, and, there's a lot of rudeness, aggression, people aren't treated right?
Toxicity.
Yeah, why? Must be some truth.
Because that is exactly what it used to be. It's totally true. However, if people in positions of influence and power who come with the right mindset, right approach, who have been through that, I've been trained and worked through the angriest. I've had hot pans thrown at me. I've had my hand forced onto a plancha. I've had knives scarred through the back of me. And my mission was...
Is this in your private time, or is this...
No, this is not a kink.
Wow.
It eventually became a kink. But essentially, when that happens to you, and also, without, as most salt of the earth people would say, playing the card, but I'm a chef of colour, and I was also an English chef who trained in France. So
The French people...
whammy.
France is not racist at all. Great place.
You, again, from a young age, you have to decide, do you want to be like them, or do you want to be better than them? And actually, I will learn everything from them in terms of how I slice a spring onion, how I garnish something, whatever. But in terms of actually being like them when it's my turn, I think absolutely categorically not. I think these days the business, the industry has moved forward. You have to be corporate leader instead of an aggressive head chef. Times have moved on, I believe.
And you know what? I think that's a really good point to kind of end on. It is about the people like you, like me, who in an industry where it's known for being a certain way, behaving in a certain way, having a certain culture, if we can make that change, which when you have your own business, your own team, it's a small business, you can. I think when you're in a corporate structure, it's not as easy, like we've kind of been saying.
100%, yeah.
But it's important that we show people that we're making that difference so that they feel that they can, and they don't have to just listen to their mentors or to their old school values and people they've been around. You can do whatever the hell you want. So people, hit the bell icon, hit the like icon, share it with your friends, and share it with your enemies, because they should be better as well.
And also come and work for us.
There you go.